Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And not a bad way to end our work week. A lot of clouds out there today, though, as we can see as we look down from our cross camera up on Wenatchee Heights, our PTZ Sky-Fi Tower camera. And you can see a lot of clouds out there. That kept our temperature down somewhat, but all in all, it really wasn't bad with temperatures today, mainly in the lower 50s. And the next 4 days, not much change, that's for sure, especially as we get into this weekend, the end of the weekend and into Monday. Tomorrow, we will see about a 20% chance for scattered showers here in the Wenatchee area. Also, 1 to 3 inches of snow is possible. If you're traveling over Stevens Pass tomorrow, you could run into some snowy roadways that way. Also, if you're traveling farther east into Idaho and Lookout Pass, a good chance for some heavier snow there as well. And then as we get into Sunday and Monday, a better chance for rain. In fact, by Monday, all the way up to 70%. And we'll talk more about that and beyond coming up in your weather forecast a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. 3 juveniles are accused of breaking into the Moses Lake Safeway fuel station early Thursday morning and stealing cigarettes. A construction firm based in Chelan and the Tri-Cities will build new affordable housing for Chelan residents. Friends and family of the Waterville woman found dead near a Wenatchee hiking trail are working to raise money for her family's expenses. And after firefighters put out a corn stubble fire outside Moses Lake that was threatening livestock Thursday afternoon, the cows showed their gratitude by getting in the way of the mop-up work. But first, we begin tonight. A 32-year-old Wenatchee man was injured early this morning after crashing his car into the side of the Bonaventure Senior Facility off Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee. Nobody inside that building was injured. The Washington State Patrol says Paulino Iglesias Granados was driving at a high rate of speed northbound on Sunset Highway. That was just after 1 a.m. this morning when his 2004 Honda Odyssey struck the curb on the right side of the roadway near 27th Street. He then overcorrected, crossed the highway, and went down a grass hillside before crashing into the side of the senior living facility. That, according to the State Patrol. Iglesias Granados was transported to Central Washington Hospital, where he was treated and released. In other news, 3 juveniles are accused of breaking into the Moses Lake Safeway fuel station early Thursday morning and stealing cigarettes. According to Moses Lake Police, the juveniles, age 11, 13, and 14, fled into a swamp area behind the Safeway as police arrived. Not knowing they were dealing with kids, police called in Canine Rex, but as soon as the dog stepped from the patrol car and started barking, the juveniles surrendered. The 13 and 14-year-olds were taken to the juvenile detention facility on burglary charges, while the 11-year-old was turned over to his parents. Police say substantial damage was done to that store. Well, a construction firm based in Chelan and the Tri-Cities will build new affordable housing for Chelan residents. K&L Homes won the contract from the Chelan Valley Housing Trust. That's the nonprofit agency overseeing the Emerson Village project at North Emerson Street and East Chelan Avenue. Once complete, the site will boast 5 townhomes, each more than 1,100 square feet with 2 bedrooms. The Chelan Valley has suffered The Housing Trust says each unit will come with a $200,000 price point, making it more affordable with Chelan's median $52,000 annual income. Friends and family of the Waterville woman found dead near a Wenatchee hiking trail are working to raise money for her family's expenses. Paulina Mosqueda disappeared last October, and her body was recovered last week near the Horse Lake Road hiking trail. Police say the circumstances of the 18-year-old's deaths are suspicious, but haven't identified a cause. Meanwhile, friends started a GoFundMe page to raise about $5,000 that would help her family pay for funeral expenses. Well, after firefighters put out a corn stubble fire outside Moses Lake that was threatening livestock Thursday afternoon, the cows showed their gratitude by getting in the way of the mop-up work. Grant County Fire District 13 said they were able to limit the fire in the 2900 block of Road 9 Northwest to about a half an acre. No cows were injured. Coming up next, Chelan County commissioners say during the pandemic, owners of vacation rental homes should stop renting to tenants from outside the area. Courts are wrestling with how to schedule trials and other important hearings as the coronavirus pandemic goes on. One of the previous provisions of the federal government's massive $2 billion stimulus bill will extend the deadline for complying with the Real ID federal mandate. And Grant County PUD has shut down all its recreation sites in response to the COVID-19 outbreak. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
You probably won't launch hurricane-force projectiles at your truck bed.
Watch me! Watch me! I got it! Watch me! I got it! Hey! I'm super bad.
But it's nice to know you can.
Hey!
Introducing Carbon Pro. If it can handle a hurricane, it can handle you. Only on the GMC Sierra.
And I'm super bad.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bobfile Boats and Motors. If you're ready for a party on the water, check out the line of Sylvan pontoon boats at Bobfile Boats and Motors. Quarantine you and your family out on the water on a Sylvan pontoon boat. Distance yourself socially, but come closer together as family. See the Sylvan line of pontoon boats at Bobfile Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Welcome back. In another news, Chelan County commissioners say during the pandemic, owners of vacation rental homes should stop renting to tenants from outside the area. In an open letter to landlords Thursday, the commissioners said lucrative vacation rentals have drawn, quote, an influx of people coming to Chelan County from urban centers. The county says this may contribute to the spread of coronavirus and asks those owners to instead reserve their vacation homes for emergency personnel or for local citizens displaced by the public health crisis. The county has long struggled with how to regulate short-term vacation housing. It's been in the process of crafting new rules on the practice for the last 2 years. Well, courts are wrestling with how to schedule trials and other important hearings as the coronavirus pandemic goes on. This week, Chelan County Superior Court rescheduled the sentencing for Jeremy Douglas Peterson, convicted last month of child rape. He was due to receive his prison sentence on Monday, but now that must wait until at least April 9th. Meanwhile, in district court, Joshua Stuller's trial for allegedly stalking a Wenatchee man in violation of a court order got continued until June. The Washington Supreme Court last week gave local courts more leeway to schedule court hearings to avoid unnecessary exposures to the virus. Well, one of the provisions of the federal government's massive $2 billion stimulus bill will extend the deadline for complying with the Real ID federal mandate. Instead of people needing to have a Real ID driver's license or identification by this October in order to board a commercial aircraft, they'll now have until October 1st, 2021. The stimulus bill was approved on Wednesday by the Senate and by the House today, as we mentioned. The Department of Homeland Security said the delay will allow states to better focus on their coronavirus responses. Well, Grant PUD has shut down all its recreation sites in response to the COVID-19 outbreak. That includes all its parks, campsites, and boat launches. The PUD said it was following the lead of the state, which shut down parks, wildlife areas, state lands, and recreational fishing earlier this week. Gates to the PUD's 20 sites have been locked, signs posted, and in some cases, barriers erected. The PUD said it will have patrols working to enforce those closures. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Owner Andrew Vickery brings years of experience to help you transition your backyard into a place where memories are made, family time is looked forward to, and friends are always welcome. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa offers many different styles and sizes of artesian spas, both new and used, as well as residential and commercial pool and spa services, regular maintenance and repairs, and all the chemicals required to keep your pool and spa crystal clear. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa today.
You want to help others. You need a solid career. You can have both with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, stop by our campus at 595 Grant Road across from Safeway or visit chartercollege.edu.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected every aspect of our society, but none more so than medical and emergency services. In tonight's feature story, Sean Ballard, one of the Wenatchee Valley's longest-serving EMTs, posted an update to his company's Facebook page this week outlining the new approach that first responders have to take in this age of coronavirus. He explained further to NCWLIFE News.
We do probably about 5,000 transports a year, and it's been pretty busy lately. And this COVID thing is starting to pick up every day. Every day we're taking in somebody who fits the criteria, and a lot of those people aren't getting tested. We had an employee who had to go home the other day, cough and fever. So it's around. A couple months ago, we saw this start over in China, and we started. It was starting to spread, and the way they were talking about it was one of those things that we thought could go big, and of course it has. And so we just started thinking about the spread, and started doing some prep work, and and we spent weeks and weeks doing prep work, ordering extra stuff, kind of thinking about what would happen, and especially when it got to Kirkland, and it's in the state now, and we're thinking like, okay, that could be us. We go into a person's house, we get them out of there, and then we get into the back of the ambulance. Well, it's a smaller cabin, and one of the biggest threats to us is dead air, and that's the same thing with any kind of respiratory illness. If you're sitting in a compartment and the person's coughing and this cloud of unseen stuff is floating around in there, if you have still air, then all of a sudden you're putting yourself at risk. So we have to go through every time we have one of those patients, we have to decontaminate the rig, which takes a while. So one of the things we did is we got one of our oldest ambulance in the fleet that we just keep around mostly for forest fires when we do contract work in the summer. And it's one of those it's not very pretty. It's pretty faded on the outside, got some cracks in the striping and stuff. And we said, why don't we get this thing ready? It's perfectly, in good running order. It just doesn't look so pretty. And let's get it totally prepped and ready. If we have a really, we're pretty confident that this is a case where we have, COVID-19 patient, then we're bringing that rig up there. We're doing the transport in it. We're just basically using it like a throwaway rig. So then somebody follows up with their primary rig. We do the transport in that rig. So then the employees can just doff their protective equipment, get cleaned up real quick, and then if they have to jump another call, they can go right back into their primary rig, take another call, go out and service somebody else, and then that rig can sit there for a period of time if we have to. The one thing that we're doing is this distancing thing is become a huge thing, and we don't want to have a lot of close contact with that person, so we kind of limit that spread both to the providers and to other people. So instead of me walking up and jumping up, taking your hand and start feeling your pulse right away, and a whole bunch of people come piling into your house, we're still sending all those people, but then when they show up, we're staging most of the people outside, and then 1 and maybe 2 providers go in and they assess the situation. And we do it from a distance. We talk to the person, kind of get their signs and symptoms. We're not running right up to their side and getting in that kind of close space. We're trying to limit that time that we're in that 6-foot range. One of the big changes in the last couple of days is now every patient gets a mask. Whether you have, a stub toe or whatever, everybody's getting a mask. All the providers are wearing masks. And then especially like when we have these ones that start meeting the criteria of the COVID-19 and they have a fever, they have the cough, and all the other respiratory symptoms, then our people back off. They go into full PPE, which is a gown, gloves, mask, eye protection, and then they go in and start dealing with the patient. And that just protects us, keeps it off our clothes, which is another way it can be transmitted, and keeps us again from being the agent of spread. My brother Scott, we call him Uncle Scott, and Aaron, our person, Aaron Adams, who does our ordering, right away when they saw this thing start to go, they said, you know what? Let's do some extra ordering. We have a lot of N95s. We have quite a few of the patient masks, the simple surgical mask. The thing that we're that I would say we're short on is gowns. But there's other alternatives you can do. You can go down and get a pair of coveralls. You can get, you can change your uniform. You can do all different kinds of things there to kind of mitigate that if you think you've been exposed. But as far as N95s, just kind of been a key around the country that people are missing. We're doing pretty good on those right now.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. And as always, before we get to the details, let's take a look outside our weather window, looking at the beautiful Wenatchee Valley today from our cross camera. It's up on Wenatchee Heights, and thank you to Localtel for providing this beautiful shot for us of the valley. Lots of clouds out there, and they moved in this morning and just kind of stuck around throughout the day. Not a lot of shower activity. In fact, hardly any here in our viewing area, although back in the Cascades we did see some sprinkles, but not that warm today either. Once again, below normal as far as high temperatures go around the Wenatchee Valley today. 55 unofficially. That's a few degrees below where we should be. 58 is now our normal high temperature, almost 60 now. 34 is where we started the day, and that's 4 degrees below where we should be for lows too at 38 now is normal. Record high 75 beautiful degrees. That was set back in 1994. Record low 24, and that was in 1975. We haven't picked up any new precipitation, so our precip stays at 1.60. 12.2 inches looks like that's where we'll be for the year, and that's at Pangbourne Airport in Wenatchee at the National Weather Service reporting site. Only 7.1 inches for the entire winter season that goes all the way back to October 1st. Sunrise this morning 6:48. Sunset tonight will be at 7:24. Taking a look at how our Saturday will shape up, let's get you into the upcoming weekend, and things are going to get a little bit wet. If you have outdoor plans, tomorrow may be your day. We do have a slight chance for scattered showers, but look at these temperatures. 62 for Moses Lake, 61 Ephrata, 59 in Quincy, mid-50s for Ellensburg. We will see about 58 in the Wenatchee area, so by all means, get out there and enjoy some outdoor activities tomorrow. I know a lot of us are cooped up in the house, so tomorrow will be our best day. 56 Chelan and 57 the high temperature up in Okanagan County for you folks in Omak. As we get into tonight's forecast, we will see partly cloudy skies to mostly cloudy, a lot like we're seeing right now. A west breeze 5 to 10 miles an hour. And here's our next frontal system right on the coast of Washington, and that will bring a little bit of light rain and then some snow into the Cascades overnight tonight. As we move into the weekend then, that's just the first in a series of storm systems moving through. We will see a 20% chance for rain on Saturday, as I mentioned. Slightly warmer though with those high temperatures tomorrow in the upper 50s. Most of eastern Washington will be precipitation free, but by the time Sunday rolls around, our chance for rain goes up to 40%. We will see some warmer air too. You can see it from the southwest moving into Washington state. That means a bit of a warm up. So upper 40s to near 50s to near 60 for Sunday. Still mild Monday, but look at that, a 70% chance of rain. Almost all of Washington state will see some sort of precipitation, all wrapping around that area of low pressure just just off the coast of British Columbia. By Tuesday, mostly cloudy. Still looks kind of wet. A 40% chance of rain. Even some snow back into the Rockies. Also Cascade snow not out of the question for Tuesday. Things get a little bit quieter then as we get into your hump day Wednesday and towards the end of the week. Wednesday, a 20% chance of rain. Partly cloudy. You can see those showers become way more scattered. Here's our area of high pressure, and it's getting elongated, which means there's another big storm behind that, and we're seeing that just nudge in on Thursday. So a little bit unsettled for Thursday next week, partly cloudy before the next round of rain moves in right after that. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling 7-day forecast. Tonight, a mild one. In fact, where we should be for this time of year at 38 degrees. Mostly cloudy for Saturday. We're going to have a lot of clouds from the weekend right into the first part of next week. 58 tomorrow looks like our warmest day, and then a bit of a cool down as we get into the end of the weekend and into Monday. A 40% chance for rain on Sunday, 70% chance on Monday. That goes down to 40% on Tuesday and 56 degrees. And our chance for rain will continue that downward trek for Wednesday and Thursday. 20% chance of the wet stuff then. Partly cloudy skies with high temperatures in the mid-50s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Snyder with Black Rock Asphalt Services here in Wenatchee, your local Black Rock seal coat company. Have you looked at your driveway or parking lot lately? Is it gray and oxidized? Does it have cracks that have not been taken care of? Or do you have striping that is pretty much non-existent? Please give us a call locally here, 509-665-9769. Learn more at blackrockasphaltsealcoating.com.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Finally Friday to you, hunkering down at home. I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Well, the NFL draft will go on as scheduled, April 23rd through the 25th. Commissioner Roger Goodell said in a league-wide memo distributed yesterday. ESPN's Adam Schefter obtained the memo and reports that Goodell also warned against criticizing the league's stance. Schefter quoted the memo from Goodell, quote, public discussion of issues related to the draft serve no useful purpose and is grounds for disciplinary action, end quote. Apparently, Goodell acknowledged there would be significant changes and told teams to prepare to conduct the draft outside team facilities and with a limited number of people. NFL draft was to be held in Las Vegas with a large audience watching the prospective draft picks in attendance, but no, that's not going to happen. Major League Baseball has agreed players will receive a full season salary even if the 2020 season is shortened. The league and the MLB Players Association came to the agreement yesterday, according to ESPN's Jeff Passan. Right now, the working model is for teams to return to training camps in mid-May and start playing games as early as June, even if there are no fans in attendance. Well, we begin our wild weekend of Wenatchee Wild Hockey here on the NCWLIFE channel, coming up with 5 games in 3 nights, starting tonight at 7 o'clock. It's the Merritt Centennials against your Wenatchee Wild. Art Checker had the call of a crazy back-and-forth contest back in November.
Wild will be back home next weekend for the pair of games against the Penticton V's. There's Hunter Hastings with it back beside the net, and he scores! Hunter Hastings walked out of the left corner, stepped out in front, and just muscled it home underneath Marshall. Pass ahead was for Caffarelli, turned over, in, shot, and a score. The leading scorer for the Wild with a great opportunity. There's a backhander, and Grabel shoves it home. Back to the point, Bavaro to Young. Young shot, score! From the left circle, ripped it across the body, over the pad, under the glove, inside the post on the long side. Olsen's in, Seltzer's it across, shot, and a score. Daniel Tack. Rollison from the right side. Nobody had Tack going up on the left wing. And now gathered by Rollison. He's got help on the far side, and a score. Galloway was driving up the left side. Rollison picked it up on the right wing.
And that was just the first two periods. Be sure and watch the entire game tonight here on the NCWLIFE channel starting at 7 o'clock. And then we've got Two for Your Pleasure coming up tomorrow against Penticton at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. And then on Sunday, it is the Prince George Spruce Kings and your Wenatchee Wild at 2 o'clock, followed by Nanaimo and Wenatchee at 7 p.m. Well, speaking of schedules, we have a tentative spring sports broadcast schedule here on the NCWLIFE channel, pending, of course, school getting back in session on April 27th. Right now, our broadcast schedule would start and include an Eastmont softball doubleheader on Saturday, May 2nd at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. if there's no Apple Blossom Grand Parade. We're still waiting to hear back from Darcy and the gang at Apple Blossom about their plans for the festival. Then we'd feature Moses Lake and Eastmont soccer on Tuesday, May 5th at 7 p.m. 2 nights later would be at the Apple Bowl for Wenatchee lacrosse against Southridge at 7. Then we'd broadcast the Wenatchee and Eastmont boys soccer match on Saturday, May 9th at 1 o'clock. The following Wednesday, we'd have the cameras at Rec Park for the Wenatchee and Moses Lake baseball. Starts at 5. We'll have it on the air at 6:30. The next night would be at Wildcat Stadium for Eastmont and Eisenhower soccer. That starts at 7 o'clock. We'd finish off the schedule Saturday, May 16th with Eastmont and Wenatchee softball at Wallowald Point Park at 1. Then we'll hightail it across the river to Dan White Field for Wenatchee and Eastmont baseball at 5. Of course, that's all pending the kids getting back in the classroom on April 27th. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Have a safe and sane weekend, and we'll see you on Monday here on the NCWLIFE channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric, and have a great weekend. A feel-good story now as we leave you tonight. After over 29 years of dedicated service, yesterday, Deputy Bo Allen made his final out-of-service call with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office.
DO 13 River County Master.
Deputy Bo Allen, on behalf of Douglas County Sheriff's Office, Rivercon Dispatch, the citizens of Douglas County, your wife and your family, we thank you for over 29 years of service to our nation, state, and county. You have served your community with honor, pride, courage, and integrity, the cornerstone elements to our profession. You have laughed, cried, fought, bled, suffered, and loved with your partners in blue. It is a privilege that today we announce your tour has concluded. Let us, your brothers and sisters, continue to carry on the tradition of service. DO13 out of service. 1300.
Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up Monday morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. I hope everybody has a safe and sane weekend. Join me Monday morning at 7 a.m. for the latest edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll have the latest local news in regard to the COVID-19 outbreak. We'll have that for you, plus whatever sports we can cobble together and everything else you're used to. So have a good and safe weekend. And don't forget, if you're locked up inside your house all weekend, watch us. And if you're out and about, you can watch us too. We're portable at NCWLIFE.com. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe and have a great weekend.
The NCWLIFE channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV, Street Talk and Other Stuff, the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and the Arbiter of Stoke. NCWLIFE Channel is your local TV station.